A few years ago, I went to a fancy Michelin star restaurant, one of those super modern places that does like molecular gastronomy and they serve a prefix menu, but not like a five-course traditional style, more like a 15-course small plate menu. So, for instance, one of the dishes at the very start of the meal, the waiters went by and clipped flowers off of the arrangements on the centerpiece and made tea for us from those flowers. Ah, so delightful. Also, the candle at one, the candle at the center of the table, this plain white candle, was made from beef tallow, and they picked it up and like poured that over like a roasted carrot sort of thing. So it was super delicious, real clever shit like that. You know what I mean? Also, they made a corn mousse that was really delicious, a short rib that might have been the finest thing I have ever eaten, and a lobster consomme that wasn't my thing, but was like brilliantly rendered. There were other dishes I don't remember specifically, but I remember liking most everything we got. At worst, any one of the dishes was fine. At best, pretty incredible. I'm not sure I'll ever go back there though, because what I remember the most was getting to like dish 10, maybe 11, and thinking, how many more of these are there? Because fuck, I am full. And I had to pace myself the rest of the way, which meant I couldn't enjoy everything to its fullest. I got a bit antsy and ready for it to end, despite what a great time I was having. It was kind of like the hit sequel to the retro indie darling about a killer clown. Terrifier 2 is creative, jam-packed with flavor. It serves up classic dishes with modern twists. It's a horror fan's horror film, but it's also 140 minutes long. It packs those minutes with scares and visuals and blood and gore and effects. And I see why everything is there, but maybe a 15-course meal is too much. Save some of those dishes for your next menu. Let's just have, say, like 9 courses, maybe 10 if you count the digestif and coffee. Hi, Cecil.
Hi, Jeffrey.
What's the best meal you've ever had?
The best
Like, can you think
meal.
of like just a meal you sat down for and were like, this is memorable?
Oh man. Oh, that's so tough because
Mhm.
it's the food that you're
Yeah.
eating. It's also the company you're with. It's the kind of what led up to that,
Uh-huh.
like sometimes you're in the mood for a big giant meal and sometimes you're not, and sometimes you have a great experience eating something really simple. But best meal? I don't know if I have a best meal.
Or like just like a favorite, like one that stands out to you.
Favorite meal. Oh, you've caught me on an indecisive day here.
It when you and your other friends betrayed Jesus Christ and you sat down for your final supper
That
and
was it.
were you
Yes.
there for that? I can't remember if you were part of that friend group or not.
I kind of distanced myself from that group a bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were petty.
Yeah, a bit.
Petty.
No, I gotta say, honestly, like I think there's definitely been a couple memorable like meals by the beach that have
Oh, yeah.
been just absolutely amazing. Actually, this was a pretty good one. I was on a cruise with my family and we were in Mexico, and um we're in a pretty touristy kind of town, and I'm with my brother, and we'd gotten off the ship, and we decided, I was like, hey, see those, like, we're gonna get off the Senior Frogs track and go
Hmm.
see something else. And we found this little tiny, teeny, tiny restaurant that was like 4 tables. And I literally had some of the best mole chicken I've ever had. That was like this little grandmother came down the stairs and like brought it to us from the kitchen upstairs. And it was undeniably delicious.
That's pretty great. When you mention like beach, that's such a interesting thing to think about because my brain instantly goes to like indoors, like at a house or a restaurant, but
Okay.
like sitting outside, someplace like that. And I thought about, when we went to Australia that first time for Night Vale tour, I remember being in Perth
Yeah.
and our promoter guy like made he grilled out for us outside the theater, which
Yeah.
was not on the ocean beach, it was on the river beach, basically. And I remember at dusk, after we were done with early sound check and waiting to do a show, like we were eating like halloumi wraps and
That was the
staring out
first
at the
time I'd ever
water.
had halloumi. I'd never
Oh
had it before.
yeah. I
I was like,
remember
what is
watching
this? What is
Dylan
this
just stare
delicious
at the
squeaky cheese?
it's so squeaky. I remember watching Dylan just like standing on the edge of the river, just watching dolphins coming in. It
Wow.
was amazing.
Yeah.
It was yeah, it was very peaceful. It was a very nice time. I think about that quite a bit.
Yeah,
And the
there's
squeaky
something
cheese.
and squeaky cheese. But yeah, there's
Hmm.
something about the beach that really like I feel like I've worked up an appetite. So even the simplest meal feels earned
Yeah.
and delicious.
So we watched a movie that neither of us had seen before. This is from
Correct.
2 years ago. Terrifier 2. The first Terrifier came out in 2016.
We
Did you go
did
back and
not.
watch? You did not go back and
No, I
watch that.
did not. I kind of thought about it, and then the week kind of got away from me, and I was like, I don't know, let's just dive into two. And Jeffrey, I gotta say, I'm regretting my decision.
To not watch the first
No,
one?
no, yeah,
Oh,
like I kind of like in the movie, the as I began watching Terrifier, like in the first bit, I was like, oh, I do kind of wish I had a little bit of backstory here.
I went back and watched a good chunk of the first one. I
Okay,
started watching
good.
the first one this morning, and I got pretty tired because the number two is very long. Episode one, movie one is a
Yeah,
cool hour 25 minutes, but I
lovely.
got like 45 minutes in, and I was like, I get it. I see what's happening here.
Okay.
It is one of those things wherein like it does sort of set up the Miles County massacre in part
Yes.
two, but part one starts with a similar thing, which it starts at the end of the Miles
Oh,
County massacre. So when they reference the TV talk show host who got mutilated by the woman,
yeah.
that is the opening scene of Terrifier 1.
Okay.
So, which is a flashback to then all the stuff that's going to lead up to that sort of thing.
Okay.
My
Gotcha.
understanding of how that I didn't watch the whole thing, so feel free to email me and be
How
like, "You
does
got
it
that wrong."
end?
I think I got the general notion from watching the first one that I didn't have to have all of this.
Yeah.
And also, I think what I gained from it though is the huge advance in Art's character
Okay.
as a clown,
Yeah.
doing more clown things rather than being a serial killer who dresses like a clown.
Okay.
Terrifier 2 feels much more like a clown who is a serial killer,
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
murderous monster because of the clowny things that he does in Terrifier 2. And I can totally
Sure.
understand why this grabbed people. Whereas the first movie, we were like, yes, retro 80s slasher bloody picture. And Terrifier 2 is this clown is delightful.
This clown is crazy. But I just had so many questions, which as one would, like when this movie Terrifier 2 begins, it's like he's mid killing spree. He's got his eye pulled out. He's got a giant hole in his skull where his brains are leaking out. He's going after some dude in a place, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, okay, uh-oh. Oh no, I should have watched Terrifier 1 because this clown. Is it a person? Is it like a supernatural clown? What's going on? Is it a zombie clown? Help! Oh no!
He definitely so I took the assumptions. I was sort of reading into the fact that they're doing such a retro 80s bloody, you know, splatter film
Sure.
that I feel like we're just going after the type of supernatural that say Mike Myers is.
Right.
Just undefeatable. He can get stabbed, he can get arms cut off later. He's fine. Like
Yeah.
there is no
Okay.
continuity with
Okay.
bodily damage necessarily.
Sure.
Although this movie definitely is angling towards some kind of like supernatural, like mythological
Yeah.
idea of Art the Clown. There is a sword that he defeats him instantly. If you behead him with the sword, it seems like he's going to be fine. Although Terrifier 3 is on its way, so you
Yeah.
know.
Subjective. Defeated, killed. What do these words even mean anymore?
Well, I had to glean this beginning scene from Wikipedia to your point that this is the coroner. Clearly, he was killed at the end of Terrifier. That seems to
Okay.
be the case. And so he has now come to life on the table and has murdered the coroner using the reflex hammer.
Oh my God.
He at one point takes the coroner's eye, plucks his eye
Uh-huh.
out, and puts it in his own eye socket where he is missing an eye.
Yeah.
It kind of
Is
does
that
a
how
little
that works? Can you,
ta-da.
it's like a magic trick. Just pop that sucker in there from another person, and I'm sure that will just connect right up.
Yep. Then I don't know, he like tears open his skull, plays with his goop,
Yep.
and then he steals Chekhov's hydrochloric acid.
Yes, he does. I kind of love Art's um garbage bag of tricks, like
Mm-hmm.
an anti-Santa.
Yes.
And it's hilarious whenever we get a glimpse into his bag of tricks because it's like torture devices, wrenches, saws, metal hammers, even some change and dollar bills and things like that. But I
Uh-huh.
was like, come on, anyone who's ever had to pick up any kind of garbage bag and the garbage is just like a little too full, like you let it go just a little too long, you're like, there's no way you could put anything like iron and metal and wood into a garbage bag and just be slinging that around town.
I want to know this brand
I
because
know.
I want that level of, because I have contractor bags that
Yeah,
don't hold up
right.
to just like, the 40 pounds of lawn clippings or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to know this brand.
Come
He's
on.
got
Art the Clown, grab bag, garbage bags.
I like that Hefty would have an Art the Clown level.
Yeah,
I hope they fund Terrifier 2
absolutely.
with product placement. He goes to the laundromat,
Naturally.
strips down naked except for his clown mask,
Uh-huh.
chef's kiss,
Yeah.
and he's doing very clown things throughout this movie, which I really appreciated about that. That I felt like that those touches were missing in the first movie, and the way he like reads the paper and sees like tragedies of like family killed in car crash, and he just kind of does like a little silent
He's
laugh.
like guffawing. Yes.
Uh-huh. But there's a lady clown there,
Oh,
the pale girl, as it's
yes.
listed, and she is just. I'm not gonna hold back. She is diarrheaing all over this
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah. She sort of waves at him and he waves back, and then she just sharts all over the floor of that laundromat. And she smiles, and it's
Uh-huh.
true love or
Uh-huh.
something.
Or something. I mean, I think from the lore we learned this is a little girl that he had killed. And there's
Yes.
something about him. He's able to bring certain people back around that are,
Uh-huh.
uh-huh.
Because there's a normal person who's kind of nodding off asleep in the laundromat, and that guy wakes up and looks over, and where we have seen Art and the Pale Little Girl, like literally playing patty cake, like you do to pass the time while you're washing the blood off your clown suit.
Uh-huh.
Um, the guy in the corner, normal guy in the corner, doesn't see her.
Yeah, he just sees art doing patty cake to the air.
Okay. I was like, all right, we have a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot happening.
Finally, Art cleans up,
Yep.
sweeps up, has a
Yep.
clean suit. He's washed the blood off his face. And as he's leaving, well, one, we notice the broom he's using is broken.
Bro.
And then on his way out the door, the other half of that broom handle is jammed through this man's head. Title credits.
Yes.
Again, very 80s synthy music.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And we meet Sienna Shaw, a high schooler, 18.
Yeah.
Like we're
High
assuming she's
schooler.
like, yeah, senior in high school, kind of classic trope. She is making her Halloween costume like an angel warrior.
Yes.
Super dope. She's got a sword. She's got all these like shoulder pads with
Yeah.
spikes and
And like
uh,
arm guards and
yeah, the gauntlet things or whatever. Yeah.
now I have to point out though, she is spray painting a lot in a closed room.
Yes.
I was like, girl, ventilate. You gotta
Hmm.
ventilate.
Hmm. Yeah, this is where you should use your garage.
Yeah.
And yeah, but she's not. She's
Nope.
spraying and spraying and spraying. We meet her mother, Barbara.
Oh, Barbara.
This is so kind of depressing. This notion that Barbara, while she's cooking, and I don't even know what she's cooking because it is burnt in that pan.
She's burning that chicken. She's burning
Yeah.
that chicken like I do. Because I'm like, I don't know, that is that done? I think it's maybe just a few more minutes. I don't
Sure.
know.
But she's also got like a wireless headset on and she's taking phone calls. She is like in the gig economy, she does customer service for some insurance company.
Yeah, she's like insurance claim adjusting something or other.
Yeah. So
And
it's like,
she's
oh shit. You got to carry that work home with you. Fuck.
oh
And we meet younger brother, 13-year-old
yeah,
ish
12,
Jonathan,
12. Yeah.
12, 13. And they all sit down to dinner. And little brother says, I'm going to go as the Miles County clown
Oh
for
no.
Halloween.
Oh no.
Sienna's like, he murdered 9 people last year. Like, that's so bad. That's
Yeah.
so tacky.
It's just
Bad idea.
tacky.
Yeah. She actually like pokes her mom about like, you ever wonder about Jonathan? Because he's like really into serial killers. He referenced Nazis at dinner.
Yeah.
Like, he talked about like Goebbels. No, who was the torture evil
I
doctor
don't know.
Nazi? That dude.
Mingles.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's just yeah, he's like
He's just
really
like,
it.
he's kind of running down the serial killer checklist, right?
Yeah, yeah, and but mom's like, it's just a phase, Sienna. Like, chill out.
Yeah.
Also, we do see him interact with Sienna, and he says how good her costume is, and he said,
Right.
you're almost as good an artist as Dad was.
Okay. Now, having seen Terrifier 1, Jeffrey, can you answer me this? Is that dad a character in Terrifier 1?
Well, based on the first 45 minutes of the film, no.
Okay, sure.
Sienna is not a character in the film
No,
either.
I would
So
expect that.
no, but I don't believe. I mean, he might be. Again, I only saw I got the vibe of the first picture, but not the
Yeah,
story. Yeah.
because like as we dive into the sort of the history of this family, I was like, wait, is their dad Art the Clown? Because it's kind of referenced this dad has this notebook that the son has, you know, sort of kept as a keepsake. And it's, kind of got some like monster drawings, it's got some fantasy drawings. But then towards the back of the notebook, dad seems to be really obsessed with, news clippings about the killer and also has a few artfully done uh pictures of some of the victims and Art the Clown himself. And I was like, uh-oh, wait. Goodbye, kitty. Goodbye, kitty. Goodbye.
Somebody, some kitty was in the bookshelf and playing with the little lamp thing,
Oh,
and
nice.
just yeah. So
That's
I
fun.
thought probably not ideal for podcast background sounds. Yeah, I don't know that he's in the movie at all.
Okay.
Maybe there's some connective tissue by the end. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it was definitely like as that sort of the family dynamic grew, I was like, uh-oh, oh no, have we dived into a part two when a part one was more necessary? But I think it was fine. We
Yeah.
like, and also we don't get the actual story on this family until literally like half an hour before the end of the film. And it's when like Sienna's friend is like, oh, by the way, that was the whole deal with Sienna over there.
Yeah. Because
And I
we
was like,
just know
oh, thank
dad died
God.
young and had like cancer or something. But we didn't realize like he had like a brain tumor and started
Yeah.
having crazy visions and
Yeah.
then killed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mystery.
Well, mystery. Well, this she's making this costume that he had drawn. The sword was her dad's.
Yeah.
Um, Jonathan had like also was like starting to get a little worried about the clown because he started reading more up on the clown and being like, wait, they never found his body. Like
Uh-huh.
his body isn't at the morgue.
Uh-oh.
Okay, now we get into the Clown Cafe.
Welcomed. Hi, my name is Cecil. Welcome to the Clown Cafe. How many in your party?
Food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe,
Food is a
Cecil.
little funny at the Clown Cafe.
You can absolutely see the Nightmare on Elm Street uh vibes of
Oh, for
DNA
sure.
in this film.
Yeah.
And
It's
she's having this dream, this elaborate dream.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Nightmare on Elm Street and also Rob Zombie. Like I could definitely feel the sort of Rob
Oh
Zombie
yeah.
influence of like creepy clowns, crazy cereal boxes, bright, like when bright primary colors are masking horrible things underneath.
Right.
But it doesn't, I don't know, this movie doesn't like have the sort of rot or the grit that I think Rob Zombie movies sometimes have.
Yeah, it has more gore, I feel
For
like.
sure.
Way
Yeah.
more gore, graphic, special effects, gratuitousness of that, but it doesn't. It's dark. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
Terrifier 2
Oh,
is not
yes. Oh,
fucking
it is.
dark.
Oof, it is gloopy gloppy for
Yeah.
sure.
Um, but yeah, the grittiness feels more on the surface of this film. Like it feels
Yeah.
much more like it's going a little gritty. But so this, yeah, it's a whole this woman playing a little banjo or a little
Yeah.
guitar is like strumming, singing about the clown cafe. This repetitive jingle. There's a bunch of like adults dressed like kids. There's one actual kid eating cereal.
Yeah.
But then Art the Clown shows up and everyone's clapping and laughing. And he gives treats to all the kids,
Yeah. He's like, you
including
get a
Sienna.
lollipop and you get a candied apple. And yeah, Sienna, he's like, take the box. She's like, I don't want the box.
What's in the
Take the
box?
box. What is in the box?
Well, it's a still beating black heart on top of a pile of worms.
So many earthworms in this movie.
A lot of eyeballs getting cut
Yeah,
out and
uh-huh.
open. A lot of wormy,
A lot of,
maggoty,
yeah.
squiggly, squirmy things. But then he takes out his Art takes a Tommy gun out of his bag and just mows everyone fucking down.
Sure.
He even sets the balladeer lady on fire.
My God, I love it.
She's there. She's still strumming
And she's
away,
still playing.
fully
She's
engulfed in
still
flame.
playing.
The serial kid is dead with blood pouring out of his mouth because he's been eating razor blades.
Yeah. And there's like crickets and razor blades are apparently is the flavor of the Art the Clown cereal.
Yeah. And he encroaches on Sienna, who's wounded in this moment. And just as he's about to get to her, she pulls from the cereal box. Like she cuts her hand open, reaching into the cereal box. But what she ends up pulling out is the blade, her dad's blade.
Yeah.
And he's about to set her on fire with the same blowtorch. And the flames shoot back at him. And she wakes up, and her dresser and the wings and all the costume stuff she was making are all fully engulfed in flame.
Oh, which is unusual because we watched during the credit sequence her laboriously blow out every single one of her candles.
We did, yeah. And of course, Barbara, mom puts the fire out with the fire extinguisher. She's livid, being like, "You leaving your candles lit all night." And this movie is filled with a lot of people who do not believe each other.
Yes. Oh my God.
But in the ashes, that sword is unscathed, even with
Seems
its
all
wooden
right.
handle.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of weird.
Hmm. We have a cut over to Art and the pale girl making new weapons for themselves, and they've got like an old school tiny CRT TV
Yeah.
watching the interview of the TV host interviewing the sole survivor of the Miles County massacre, a woman named
Yeah.
Victoria. And Art smashes the TV open.
Very mad.
Yeah, very mad.
Or something. He's like,
Something.
ma'am, that one got away.
Let's talk about the dead possum.
Yeah, this dead possum. Okay. So Jonathan where he's kind of like we're supposed to get the feeling that he's like at that age where he's
Hmm.
into the dark stuff, but he's not a serial killer. He's not without empathy, without human feeling. But his friends are kind of douchebags.
Hmm.
They found a dead possum behind the dumpster, and they're sort of poking it, making stupid jokes about it. They call over some girl in their class. And they're like, "Look, kitty, a cat has had kittens. Come see the cute little kittens." And it's
Yeah.
a dead possum, and she runs away screaming. Teacher, very mad, but it's not a big deal. She's like, "You go tell the janitor that there's a dead possum, and you two go to class."
Yeah. So he's gonna go to class. He steps out to the restroom with his hall pass, and in the
Yep.
hallway he sees Art and the pale girl playing with this dead possum.
I love it. They're like holding it like a baby.
Oh my god. And then, kind of like how you hold a baby, they reach into the guts of the
Uh-huh.
possum and start pulling all of its intestines
I mean,
out.
they say that's like the rule of babies. You got to
Yeah,
support
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
head, and you got to really reach in deep for the guts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for like the first like 2 to 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're fine. Then they're fine on
And
their
then
own.
they're fine on their own. They can get their own guts out, support their own
And
head.
yeah, and Jonathan is upset by this, but he
Uh-huh.
kind of makes like a little noise, and of course, nothing worse than seeing two psycho killer clowns just quickly notice your presence, but they chuck that possum right the fuck at him.
Uh-huh. He's splattered with blood now, possum blood, and he goes running through the hallway. The principal catches him and is like, "Don't run." And she sees where he came from and sees that dead possum and the blood on his shirt and was
Oh
like,
dear.
sends him home with a police escort.
I know, right?
And of course, mom is livid about
Yeah.
this because it's a phase, but like we've set him up as he's the creepy kid.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
He's this kid's into some dark shit, and it's true, he is.
He is.
But we
But it's
know,
also we
but
we
we
have a
know
lot
he's
of
not that level.
yes, we've seen him react to a couple of really dark shit. And it's interesting. I'm surprised he wasn't like, yeah, there was like a dude dressed like a clown in the school.
Yeah.
They were like, "You child, you'll say anything, I'm sure."
Hmm. Nobody's piecing together all of these constant murders by clowns, and
Yeah,
and I think some of that. This is a Halloween movie, takes place
true.
at Halloween, so there is a couple moments where they're like, "Oh, this is the Halloween prank sort of thing." Like we can't obviously think anything is super
No.
serious. Sienna is we meet Sienna's friends. We have Allie and Brooke. Sienna and Allie go to the costume shop because Sienna needs wings now because her wings that she made burned up. So she's going to have to buy store-bought costume wings.
Oh no.
Art is there.
I love it.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
this is some of my favorite evil clowning that he
Uh-huh.
does. I mean, a lot of my favorite evil clowning. Like he's very it's in the stillness. Which I read the actor and the director slash writer were kind of inspired by like Marcel Marceau, the fact
Uh-huh.
that art never talks, but there's also just nothing creepier than something that is very clearly alive that is being uncannily still.
Yes. And the way he does kind of that street performer, am I a statue, am I not sort
Yes,
of thing,
that's
only
it.
moving his
Yeah.
eyes. And he kind of corners in the downstairs area of this shop. He kind of corners Sienna, who has to kind of like creep past him. Because at this point, we're
Oh,
just like, boys are out here dressing up like this serial killer,
yeah.
being fucking creeps. The movie does a great job of setting that up because we already have the little brother who wants to do that. We already know there's like this whole internet culture of shitty boys. We've already seen Jonathan's friends being shitheads to women.
Yeah.
And so like, well, it tracks that there's another fuckwit fucking with girls at the Halloween shop.
Yeah.
But my favorite is when she's going to buy her wings and he is over by the sunglasses stand
Oh my
modeling.
God.
And every cut back to him, he's got a different set of wild glasses
I
on.
love it. I love it.
Very funny. My absolute like most laugh out loud moment in this movie comes here too, where he grabs one of those bike horns that
Uh-huh.
like a
Uh-huh.
squeeze horn, and he starts creeping slowly up behind Sienna as she's waiting for the clerk to go put her stuff in her bag. And she, without looking at him, just goes, "Please don't." And he
Please
goes,
don't do it.
"Wrong."
Oh my God. Horrible. Horrible.
But he allows her to leave. And Allie, she and Allie are allowed to leave, but the shopkeeper is like, "Hey, just stop fucking around." He watches this guy try to buy this bike horn, this clown buy a bike horn using like bloody dollar bills,
I
and
love it.
the
He's
guy's
like,
like,
let's see what I have in my sack. Let's see. Here we
"Oh,
go. We've got a wrench. We've got some pliers. Here's some teeth.
rusty saw." Here's yeah, puts teeth on the counter. And the guy's like, "Get out before I call the cops, before I fuck you up."
Oh,
Well, that was an empty promise, sir, because you now have a broken bottle
yeah.
straight into your left eye.
Yeah.
Gross. Cleaver to the head, gets his head
Yeah.
fully cut off. And then uh Art had already put the closed sign up in the window, and then you see outside on the street a mom and her son going like, "Oh no, it's closed. I was wanting
Yeah.
to get some stuff." And he's like, "But oh mom, this stuff is really cool." And then we see Art holding the
Just
shopkeeper's
holding the
head
head.
like he's a Halloween decoration.
Oh my
And they're both
God.
like, "Isn't that cool? It's so real
Oh, it's so great. New York just goes all out for Halloween.
looking." uh this takes place in New York. Is that where
Yeah.
we're basing this? Okay.
Yeah. Just because we got a news report at one point that's like the East Village Halloween parade is going to be
Oh,
cold and wet this year.
missed that. Okay, okay, okay.
So I get
So
there's kind of like we're in some sort of New Jersey, Long Island, somewhere,
yeah,
some New York adjacent.
we're in some
Because
like
these houses are big.
yeah, we're not in Park
We're
Slope.
not
We're
in
not
the
in
city. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, you're right. Like Nassau County or maybe like Forest Hills, some shit
Yeah.
like way out in Queens.
Staten Island or something.
Oof, oof. Okay, so at home, Jonathan shows Sienna dad's sketchbook, and Sienna was like, "We've been looking for this.
I
I
know,
didn't know you
right?
had this." But we see that dad had sketches of Art
Yeah.
and of some of his victims, um, as well as like news clippings. And then he had a drawing of a warrior angel holding up the head of a severed head of a demon. Hmm.
Cool. Cool.
And Jonathan's like, "I think he created this character for you, that you are the chosen one to defeat him." And I'm
Okay.
like, that okay, I like this lore. I like this idea that like dad for brain tumor gave him these visions. I like the
Sure.
notion that this is very mythological. Like
Yeah,
you
some sort of
were,
sword of destiny.
yeah, you were the person of destiny.
Yeah.
Whatever reason it was fed through him. What I don't like is the idea that dad created a character for his daughter that involved almost no clothing
I know, right?
and a push-up bra.
Yeah. It's very like beyond Barbarella, Red Sonja,
Uh-huh.
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, it's in that line.
Thanks,
I kind of
Dad.
wish if we were gonna have that be her prophesied look, it would have been cool if it was like from a friend of the family or
Yeah.
something.
My God. Is that better or worse?
No, it's somehow it just takes the incestual part out of it, but
Ugh.
it's still creepy.
You're like, thanks, Dad. Thanks for this metal push-up bra and micro mini skirt that you've inspired me to create.
Yeah, it just needed to be from like an old dusty tome. Is
Mhm.
what it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Jonathan is now like, "I think you shouldn't go to your friend's Halloween party tonight. I
I
think
think
you should
that
stay
sounds like a
home."
good idea.
Yeah. But
But
she's doing the same thing her friends were
I'm
doing to her,
oh,
not believing him.
it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because like Sienna does this a couple of times. Like when she's talking to her friends at lunch and she's like, "Oh, this super weird thing happened." They're like, "What?" She's like, "Nah, never mind. It's nothing." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, clearly it's not nothing."
Yeah, because you look like shit today.
Yeah. She's like, "Well,
And
I was just up, making my cosplay till 6 a.m. and then my room caught on fire. My mom had to, extinguish the fire." But now I mean, she's had a horrible interaction
yeah,
with Art the Clown at the Halloween Spirit Store.
yep.
And her brother's like, "I think something's really going on this Halloween. It's gonna be bad." And she's like, "You're just imagining things."
Yeah. Well, Annie is at home. Sorry, Annie, Allie.
Allie.
Allie is at home. Sienna's friend we met earlier is at home giving out candy to trick or treaters. She's going to meet her
Great.
friends up later because her
Yeah.
mom is not home from work yet.
Yeah. She's got her witch costume all laid out, ready to
Hmm.
go.
And she's giving out candy, and then doorbell opens. It's Art. She got a guy from the costume shop, and then he holds out his trash bag
Mhm.
for candy.
Yeah. Love it.
And she's like, no candy for grown-ups. Shuts
Aren't you
the
a bit
door.
old for trick or treating?
Then motherfucker is like banging on the
Yeah.
door. And at that point, I'm like, I am not messing with this person
Mm-mm.
at all. Uh,
Unprepared.
no.
Unprepared for what's going to happen.
You people are not from this is what made me think it's not based in New York because New
I know, right?
Yorkers have no patience for this shit.
Just,
They're
yeah.
like, no,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
no,
for
just
sure.
don't talk to don't engage with the man talking to himself.
Yeah.
Because best case scenario, he's in bad shape.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, he has something that he'll knife you with.
Yeah. But she's like, "You know what? If I just give you the candy, will you go away?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, fine." She throws candy at him. I kind of love that she like throws it at his face.
Yes. Uh, there's a moment wherein before we get to Allie, get back to Allie, Sienna is going out with her friends. She's getting all ready in her costume, but there's a moment where she is watching the news about the TV host was
Yeah.
mutilated by her guest, who was mutilated by Art in the first movie, apparently.
Okay.
Um, but Sienna imagines the newscaster addressing her directly.
I know, right?
She's like, "Isn't that true, Sienna?" Um,
Huh?
Sienna comes to, and we get a full like classic '80s hot lady shower scene,
Oh my God. Yeah.
makeup, costume, prep,
Yeah.
synth music,
Listen,
exciting.
I love her like metallic three, kind of like bronze, silver, gold
Uh-huh.
little swipe across her eye.
So
Badass.
good. Mom says she's going out. You look like you're going to a strip club. And she's like, how about you just tell me I did a good job on this? I've been working on it a lot.
Now, to mom's, she's like, I like mom's answer. She's like, "Listen, I know that this was the costume dad saw you in."
No one is questioning this.
No
Why
one
is
is
no one
questioning this.
questioning this?
And she's like, "It's one thing to see it in a sketch. It's another to see it on your teenage daughter." And I think that's fair. That's fair, mom.
Totally. Totally. I
And
think that's a
listen,
nicer way to say it than you look like you're going to a strip club.
yes,
Yes.
yes, probably
Yes.
true.
But she does say dad would have loved it. Like he would have been very proud that you brought his vision to life. Don't think about the other stuff. Okay, but Allie is getting ready to go out. She's eyeing her witch costume,
Yeah.
but she hears noises, and downstairs, the sliding glass window is fully broken open.
This is so scary. Like that's the scariest when you're like, there's someone in the house. Like
Uh-huh.
when you know there's something in the house. And I wish they had kind of like played up that suspense. And I think that's where like kind of the 70s horror, like Halloween, and the sort of the 80s horror. The 80s horror is just like, let's just get to the guts.
Yeah.
And, sort of this has the sort of retro 80s feel of that versus 70s horror, which is much more about like the cat and mouse, the like stalking around and all that.
70s horror has fewer eye pluckings and neck
Yes.
explosions and gut gougings. But yeah, you're right. He's Art is just hanging out in the kitchen
I
having a
love it. He's
glass of
just like
water.
getting a glass of water. Like, Art the clown, you crazy.
He grabs two knives and chases her upstairs. Not much to this.
Wow.
He didn't have
Allie.
much fight here.
Allie. This is like, I feel like this kill sequence is like the most. I
It
like it.
is. I
I
do
like it.
too. This
But
is
he
the
like,
thing. Oh, go ahead.
he's like, he's like, okay, we're gonna start. This is your 15 course meal, Jeffrey.
Hmm.
We're going to begin by incision along the top of the head, and we're going to scalp you until we can see your brain. And then we're just gonna like, you know, like tear off half your face and then maybe stab you a few times. And no, save room. Maybe a little, save room because they're going to be trying to get away. They're going to stab you in the back. And now I'm going to take your arm and I'm just going to grab your arm and I'm going to like break your arm. So that way the bone is visible, which is one of my least favorite. I'm like, ugh, that's one
Oh,
of my, I'm like, whenever you can
uh-huh.
see bone sticking out of skin, I'm like, I don't like that.
Yep.
But then don't worry because there's more, because then we're going to take that same bone and we're just going to like take your second and third fingers, and in between those, we're just going to like a crab, just like claw you open,
Uh-huh.
just rip it right open, and then take your whole arm off from the elbow down. And oh wait, no, save room, because there's more. You're going to be trying to get away, which is shocking.
Uh-huh.
And then we're just going to take you and we're going to like prop you up on the bed and we're going to stab you a few more times.
Well, I
Did I
do
forget anything?
like
Was there
right
a
before,
course that I
well, there
forgot?
was right before for the dessert course, there was
Uh-huh.
kind of like a final little digestive cracker that was
Hmm,
him
hmm.
dousing her with bleach and
Right.
table salt.
Oh yes. Like I love it. He like leaves the room and you're like, oh, thank God, this horrible nightmare is done. But no. Bleach and table salt. Art the clown, you are the Bugs Bunny of crime. You
Yes,
truly are.
it's Bugs Bunny is 100% accurate. This movie is so cartoonish in its violence. And it has a lot of fun with it. Like, when
Yeah.
we've talked some of these old movies with a lot of great special effects, practical effects, things like that. This movie revels in that. And
Oh
it
yeah.
and it says, yeah, when I watch these 1982 slashery movies, I want more of that. And this movie
Yes.
gives you a lot. It's hard to know what to cut because everything's done really well. It's
Yeah.
just more about the whole menu just can't have this much food in it
Yeah.
for my
Yeah.
taste. And every time we get to a scene, there's 10 too many beats to the
Yeah.
scene,
Oh,
and
for
that's what
sure.
the scene is, which is great right here because I'm fully ready for this plate that has like a quarter pound of short rib and
Uh-huh.
like a 4-inch pile of mashed potatoes
Mm-hmm.
and Brussels sprouts with bacon fat,
Yep.
but that it leaves so little room for much else.
Because we've still got a long ways to go.
Boy, we sure do. Allie's mom gets home, sees the broken sliding door, panicked, runs upstairs, sees Art still mutilating Allie's
Yeah.
still living body,
What? I
going,
know she's got
"Whoa."
just mom, like half her face is gone. I love it as he's like smoking a cigarette, like
Yeah.
a sort of post-coital cigarette.
Uh-huh. And mom just screams. Cut to
Um,
outside the house, kids
yep.
ringing the bell for candy, and
This is
Art.
my favorite. This
Yes,
is this
go
is
ahead.
actually like, I mean, I love the Halloween store gags, but this is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
When Art comes and he's got like Allie's head that's been like brained open, like,
It's her mom's head.
oh, is it the mom? Of
It's the
course it
mom because
is.
she
Of
still
course.
has all of her face skin on.
Makes much
And
more
yeah,
sense. That
yeah.
makes much more sense. But he's put candy in it and he's like, one by one to these children and the reaction, like these kids' reactions, they're like, mine is all sticky.
Like it's just fake blood. Calm
That's
down.
don't worry, it's fake blood. And then, like kind of like a bigger kid goes back for a second and he like Arth kind of like slaps his hand. He's like, kind of goes, no.
Uh-huh.
One a piece. Bugs Bunny shit.
Yes, totally. All right, cut to our Halloween party. Whatever
They
crazy
went to a bar.
warehouse
This is a bar.
bar. Yes. They're at a dance club, basically.
Yeah, they're like a bar in the East Village or something.
Yeah.
It has
Uh
kind of cavern room, East Village vibes. Do
yeah,
you
and
remember
this
that
is
bar in the
oh
East Village that was like 10 shots for $10? Do you know what I was
oh
talking about?
God. I do, I don't remember this.
It
No.
was like right on 14th Street, I think.
Oh
And I remember
shit.
like my roommate and her boyfriend went there once and they came home. They were so mad. They were like, we went to this bar that was like 10 shots for $10. And we got into a fight with the bouncer and we got bounced out of this bar. And I was like, well, you did kind of go to the 10 shots for $10 bar. So
People are amazing. Brooke and Sienna are at this bar,
now,
and
Jeffrey, I have a
also Brooke's
question.
boyfriend Jeff is there too.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead
Um,
with your question.
what is Brooke's Halloween costume?
What a great question that has almost no answer.
Yeah. Because,
It's
like, okay.
vaguely pirate
Oh, maybe that's it. No,
winch-ish.
no, no. Maybe I think you're right. Maybe it's Pirate Wench, Jack
Yeah.
Sparrow,
I,
because she's got like a little peasant poofy blouse,
uh-huh.
and then she's got kind of these like fake colored dreads.
Yeah, like thick braids in her
But she's very
in her
like,
hair. Yeah.
"Hey, girl, do you like my hair?" And I was like, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
what are you? What are you?" I mean, also like Sienna, if Sienna, we've not like laboriously set up this like labor of love that is her costume, I'd also
Yeah.
be like, what? Are you Shira?
Yeah.
Shira with wings?
I will say that it's been a long time since I've done any type of Halloweening like
Okay,
this.
sure.
We have to go back more than 20 years to my early 20s. And this trio here, Jeff, Brooke, and Sienna, do seem to capture the three types of Halloween people at
Oh,
a
absolutely.
party, at a
Yes,
dance party.
yes.
Because we have the person who went all out, made just the
Yep,
dopest costume.
yep.
We've got the woman who just didn't really do a costume. She's just dressing sexy,
Yeah.
which
Just dressing kind of cool,
like
sexy,
more
different
sexy than
sexy.
normal. It's got costumey elements to it.
Yeah.
Like it's
She's
not
like,
something
look, I
she would
wore hoop
wear.
earrings.
Yeah, she would dress sexy at club night any night,
Yep.
but Halloween just an extra level of costumey sexy,
Yeah.
but not a specific thing. And then the guy who just has funny t-shirt on.
Yes. That is absolutely the three flavors of Halloween.
Yeah. And Jeff's t-shirt says just the tip, I promise. And then it's like a knife with blood dripping
Like
off
a
the
little bit of
end of
blood.
it.
Oh,
Horror fan. He's one of us, Cecil. Jeff is.
absolutely. Well, and we do get kind of a fun horror reference upon introducing him, and that he's in a sheet and kind of sneaks up behind him. So we get a little bit of Halloween-ness,
Yes.
the like boyfriend in the sheet. That's not really the boyfriend.
Ooh, yeah. Well, Sienna's like, I don't want to drink too much. I don't want to drink anymore. We got our shots. I'm done.
Uh-huh.
But she starts, she does take the shots that Brooke
Yeah, she
buys
takes a
her,
shot. She's drinking like her rum and coke.
but she's,
Okay,
she's like,
like
go easy.
not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah. And she's
But
having actual fun, but she is behaving not like a person who is drunk.
no.
She is behaving like a person on ecstasy.
Yes, that is true because at one point she is literally just like feeling a stone wall saying, I love this
Uh-huh.
so much. I was just confused as our character for a moment until it was revealed. Our friend Brooke just happened to put a little bit of Molly into her drink
Oh man.
without telling her.
And also not knowing that she's on Xanax.
I know.
Jesus Christ. That's how you kill people. Don't
Yeah.
don't roofie people.
Yeah. Don't
Uh
roofie your friends.
don't roofie your friends, for fuck's sake. And obviously Sienna's not happy upon learning this shit.
Oh, for sure.
But Brooke convinces her to get back out there and like let's get back out there to do the dance, have fun.
I,
You're feeling it. Things are great.
I actually I approve of Brooks' two rules of drug taking.
Uh-huh.
Um, number one, never call your mom.
Right.
This is one that I've heard for quite a while.
Yeah.
You're going to feel some intense feelings and see some intense things, and you might want to call your parents. Don't call your parents when you're on
No.
drugs. It's
Really,
probably not a
probably
good
don't
idea.
call anyone, right?
Yeah, that's probably a good
Except
idea.
a cab home or something.
Yes,
But yeah.
yes. um, and the other one is get out there and enjoy the rest of your role, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, don't let it go to waste.
Yeah,
And that works for a little while
sure.
until she starts seeing a
Until,
pale girl,
uh-oh.
which leads to Sienna freaking out.
Yeah,
No one else can see this girl, and Sienna has quite literally a panic attack, like
yeah.
screaming and breathing and collapsing to the floor, just when Jeff and Brooke have got to drive her home. But let's go back to home where
Meanwhile, back in
Mom
suburbia,
is. Meanwhile, Mom comes upstairs to talk to Jonathan, who's clearly grounded,
yeah,
cannot go
clearly.
out on Halloween night. And she's like, why don't you just come downstairs, watch a movie with me or something? And he doesn't want to do that. And he's still mad that she doesn't believe him about the possum. And he tries to show her dad's sketchbook. Like, he tries to tell her there's some crazy shit happening.
Yeah,
And she's so mad about him that she starts tearing the
I
sketchbook
know.
up. And he says, "You're such a bitch." And she slaps him
Yeah,
and he fucks off. He just runs out the door.
this family dynamic is rough.
Barbara, I don't
Barbara's a
I
hard
can't
character.
diagnose Barbara, but Barbara's tough. She reacts strongly and emotionally in every moment.
Yeah.
And she
Like,
doesn't
she
really
also
take
like
time to think it through.
she kind of drops the F bomb a couple of times with her kids, which listen, I'm not a parent.
Mhm.
I don't know how parenting works. But in general, that is like, kind of textbook of like how to get an audience not on your side.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not that she just casually says the F word, like, oh, fucking hell, this is great.
Yeah.
She directs it at them.
Yeah.
Um,
We do get the sense that it's like single mom struggling, white knuckling, trying to keep
yeah,
this family together after something happened with dad, which
yeah.
we're going to find out about in a little bit. Which I was like, come on, could we not have like we didn't really
We
flip
could
flop this
have.
story.
I
Like,
wish we could have front loaded the thing that we learned from Brooke in a little bit. We should just say it now, which is we
yeah,
already said we learned that he didn't just die of cancer young.
yeah.
He had a brain tumor
His whole
that like,
personality shifted.
yeah,
He became abusive to Sienna.
yes, and then had all of these crazy visions. Ended up drinking a whole bottle of Jack and then driving into an electrical transformer and died.
I, yeah. Talk about bury the lead.
But the abuse part of it, like and if you've
Yeah.
ever dealt with somebody with a brain tumors will change your personality. And so that's a very real, scary thing that can happen. And I would have liked to have known that
Yeah.
at the beginning, because I think that would color my picture of Barbara better.
Absolutely. Because she, like, I think at one point she does say, she's like, let's try to remember him like he was.
Yeah.
But we don't know just how severe that is,
Yeah. Yeah.
how that, like, what the shift was.
Yeah. And also, there's a moment very beginning of the movie when we first meet this family where Barbara tells Sienna, like, give your brother a break. Like, he just lost his dad. And she's
Yeah.
like I didn't.
Yeah.
But it's very clear that, like, they had a different relationship than
Yes.
you had.
Yeah.
Like, your dad was abusive in the end
Yeah.
toward you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
he was probably, I'm presuming from that line, very loving of Jonathan, maybe,
Yeah.
that Jonathan maybe had a harder connection to lose. Anyways, point is, she's frustrated. She takes her pills and pours a tankard of wine.
Yeah. Nothing like knocking back 3 or 4 pills with An extra large glass of Tempranillo.
Yes, yes. We got that Dodgers souvenir stadium cup.
Uh-huh.
Yep. But she hears something and she goes out toward the garage, and in the garage is her car, and it is covered in like smashed pumpkins and toilet paper and goo and whatever else,
Shaving cream, the
shaving
whole
cream,
thing.
and written in the shaving cream on the window, it just says bitch. And she's like, that fucking son of mine.
Yeah. And we've kind of established that she has some sort of feud with the next door neighbors
Oh,
about
interesting.
like just a throwaway line in the beginning. She's like, "Oh, make sure to put the car in the garage or something like that because those neighbors are going to like be out toilet papering and they're going to key the car again."
Oh, okay.
So it's already been established there's going to be some Halloween shenanigans, but this definitely it is set up to feel again, this poor kid Jonathan just can't catch a fucking break.
No. No, he's getting framed left and right by this
Yeah.
fucking clown.
Yeah.
Outside Jonathan, we see him out in the park running, not knowing where he's gonna go, but he does see a windowless black van, which
Oh
we've
my
seen
God.
before.
I got to say, the casting in this movie is great,
Uh-huh.
but the casting of this van, impeccable.
Oh my God.
This is the scariest van. It's something about like the fact that it's like white and then spray painted black, which I love that because it's Art the Clown, so it's like
Uh-huh.
black and white. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so his van, but it's also like the whole side is spray painted black over the windows, and like it almost looks like the front is from a completely different van that looks very 80s.
Uh-huh.
This isn't like I don't know whatever
Yeah, this is
soccer
not a
mom.
Chrysler Town and Country
Yeah,
van.
this
No.
does not this does not have a, video screen that you can watch, Minions on.
Right, right, right. Yeah. But yeah, the van honks at him, and he at first there was no one inside it, but when he looks back, he sees the pale girl and her glowing yellow eyes. S- that pale girl is scary as shit.
She
That's some
is.
awesome. Her like twisted head and like,
Yeah. I just like her big messy side pony,
oh, so
like
good.
like that comes out of like a little tiny hat, very similar to Art the Clown's. Like it's kind of like Punky Brewster devil vibes, zombie Punky Brewster
Uh-huh. Well, Sienna gets a call from her
from
mom. This
mom.
is this is before the panic attack
Mom is flipping out.
about Jonathan vandalizing the car and accusing her daughter of being drunk. Her mom is like, and she's like so frustrated with her mom, Sienna is. But finally she takes a breath and kind of does the thing that her mom doesn't do, which is take a
Yeah.
breath and say, Mom, you know what? I do love you. I love you. No, really, I don't say it enough.
Yeah.
I love you. It's a very nice moment. Like, it's a very,
Yeah.
very like emotionally giving thing to do. And mom softens.
Yeah.
She got soothed and she says, go enjoy your party. I'm sorry I bothered you.
But you know what that also is, Jeffrey?
Uh-huh.
The kiss of death.
It totally is, because Barbara goes to clean off the car and is feeling a little bit better and is like, things are gonna change. I can feel it. They are
Yes, they are.
in very quickly, because as she wipes the shaving cream off the driver's side window, there's Art, and he's got an old-timey, like super sawed-off shotgun. This is a
Yeah.
big barreled pistol. It's got to
Yeah.
be like a sawed-off shotgun. That's just explosive, and it just blows
Yeah.
her head clean off.
I love this scare. I love this one. This is like
Uh-huh.
actually like it's not necessarily the most drawn out. But there is something super creepy about the fact that he was in that car the entire time. That is
Yes.
so creepy to me.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I wanted more beats like this in this film, because we're in this final act
The sort of cat and
at the
mouse.
carnival.
Yeah.
The carnival thing is it's so long. It's way
Oh
too
my.
long.
This movie
It,
has 5 endings, Jeffrey.
I know, and I
This
lost
movie
so
has
much
more
energy.
endings than
Yeah.
like The Return of the King.
Yes, yes. But this is, when you talk about a 15-course meal, you need
Yeah.
some that are just a single little
Yeah.
bite.
Yeah.
A single
And
little
Barbara's
bite.
death, perfect.
Perfect.
And we get
Incredibly
a
scary,
little
violent.
follow-up when Jonathan comes home
He,
and like there's like candles on the table and
uh-huh.
mom is just like sploosh faced open,
Mm-hmm.
which actually, we just watched for Patreon, we just watched Midsommar and very similar.
Yeah.
The like person with just no face with meat flaps,
Uh-huh.
meat flap face.
Oof.
And mom is just propped up and like, oh my God, this Art the fucking clown comes in with like sort of like a Donna Reed energy.
Uh-huh.
It's the best way to describe it. Like big bowl of mashed potatoes, put some mashed potatoes on mom's plate, sort of like no, is kind of performing for Jonathan. Leave it to Beaver.
Yes.
But mom
The
is not eating her mashed potatoes because mom is clearly meat faced.
mm-hmm.
And he just takes those mashed potatoes and like shoves it into her cranium, Jeffrey.
Unbelievable.
I love it.
It's wild. It's wildly creative. It's wildly vicious.
Yeah.
This is a mean film.
It's a mean film, but it's also like this to me is a really great example of independent filmmakers that are like doing a lot with a little.
Yeah,
I actually read this
totally.
interesting tidbit that this movie was one, it was like mid shooting during the pandemic. Like literally they were shooting when
Oh,
everything shut
wow.
down. And so they had to kind of like retool, regroup, kind of shoot things. But like all their special effects, it has this feeling of they've done so much with just a little. And because they spent so little, and then this movie kind of came out during the pandemic and they didn't know what to do, but it got this traction. It actually became like one of the most profitable movies of the year
Wow.
because they had spent so little and made so much money. But it's like it's got this feeling that they're like, okay, we need to use every part of the things that like all these special effects.
Yes. Wait, where did you go? Oh, there you go. Okay, sorry.
Hello.
Hi. Uh, it's it definitely feels like we have to use everything given to us.
Yeah.
Is I think
Like what
the
else can we
overall
do with this?
yeah, and I
Can we put a bottle in his face? Can we smash his head in? Can we cut the head off? Can we open up the chest cavity?
which I so appreciate, and I love having like an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
But also I think save some of that for a
I
rainy
know.
day, because who
Yeah.
knows? One of these days you're gonna make another movie, and you may have plenty of ideas for that one and the one after and the one after. But you know what? You don't have to see everything in
Yeah.
your drawer here.
Yeah.
But it is having fun, and I, as a person who tries to cram a bunch of shit into all of my scripts, like
Sure.
here's another joke, let's add another joke. Oh, here's a cool
Yep.
visual, let's do that. And then when I get to editing, I every time I edit, when it's like we need to shave 500 words off this, I'm like, well, I just added 700 more is what happened.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. So I fully get the problem with having too much stuff and you don't know what to cut and
Yeah.
all of that. But just taking a trope of killed mom,
Mm-hmm.
like you said earlier, the kiss of death. So we already know this trope. Like once you've resolved your problems with your daughter, there is no happy
Oh
ending here because
yeah.
it's a horror
Yeah.
movie. So we're gonna take that trope, we're gonna do it real big, then we're gonna add another twist. Let's prop it up, let the sun
Yeah.
see the dead body. But you know what? We've already done that. So let's take it one step further and cram mashed potatoes into a cranium.
Yeah.
Dope as shit. But he chases Jonathan upstairs, but instead of killing Jonathan, he's got a giant needle.
Like a comically large horse injection needle.
This was a thing that he has this in the first movie too, where he takes
Oh.
somebody hostage and puts them into a very like hostile, like torture room sort of
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
So I do like that we see kind of like a repetition of inventions that he has.
Okay.
Like different people get a different thing, who
Yeah.
knows what we're going to do. He's got literally a bag of tricks.
Yeah.
And so for here, he knows he needs Jonathan. to lure Sienna out. He also finds the giant sword and is like, might be needing this.
Take this as well.
Sienna's had her panic attack. She's driving. Jeff and Brooke are taking her home. Brooke is livid. Like, I was just trying to do something nice for you by spiking your drink with Molly.
Sure. You're such a
Jonathan. Oh,
downer. You're
yeah.
such a downer all the time.
Her phone rings. It's Jonathan calling. Or is it Cecil?
Oh my God. This is kind
It's,
of interesting. I mean, like for
yeah, agreed.
having like so it's you know, we just hear the other end of the line and it's Jonathan be like, I'm in trouble. Come save me. I'll be at the old fairgrounds. Nothing suspicious about that.
No.
But of
Even
course,
Brooke
Sienna,
points that out, being like, he's fucking with you.
yeah,
Like the old carnival?
yeah,
Whatever.
I'll meet you at the old carnival. And Sienna's like, I know my brother's voice. I know if he was lying to me. But then we cut over and we do like kind of a cool thing with the pale little girl. And she's like mimicking Jonathan into the phone,
Yeah.
which is really interesting. Like when you've established characters that are silent, but then like the only words you kind of put in their mouths are like other people. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
we don't even know if this little girl exists. We don't know what the fuck her deal is. So she's a little more loose than
Yeah.
Art the Clown. Absolutely.
So Jeff and Brooke drive her to the old carnival to go find Jonathan.
Yep.
They wait in the car and she goes in. And Brooke
That's
says, didn't a little girl get murdered here a few years ago? Which is referencing the little girl that is now the pale girl.
aha.
So Sienna goes to look for Jonathan. She's trying to call him, but she's just getting like weird demon
Yeah.
in her phone.
I love her to like the text. Like he gets it like, it's me, Jonathan.
I'm.
I'm stuck
What do you mean? What stuck in what?
in the Terrifier.
Yes, all caps.
You know what, girl? Same.
Which is, I guess, the name of the fun house because that's where she goes to go look
Yes.
for him. Cut back to the vehicle with Brooke and Jeff. We get that
Brooke
whole
Jeff.
story we've referenced
Yep.
earlier about Sienna's dad, but Jeff cracks out a little baggie of Coke.
Let's do some blow and make out.
Uh-huh. Brooke is starting to get a little concerned about Sienna and is like,
Yeah.
let me just try and get a hold of her. And
She's
he's
been
like,
gone for a
fine,
while.
you call her. I'm going to go pee.
Yeah.
And he does. He steps outside to go pee. Just the tip, Cecil, is written
Just the tip.
in the steam
Uh-huh.
on the window of the car. Brooke notices that just as we cut to a kitchen knife going right into his dick.
Yeah. Kitchen knife like into the dick.
Over and over and over and over.
Just like love.
Oh, Art crashes through the driver's side window where he grabs Brooke, pulls her through. She manages to kick him in the face and limp
Yeah,
away.
she gets a good like I mean like Brooke is, you know, she's the mean girlfriend. You know, she's the mean friend. Allie is definitely the nice friend. And I
Yes.
think they do, you know, again, a very John Carpenter's Halloween dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a well-rounded friend group. And like Brooke gets her shots in.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, gets away. She like has the smarts to like strip off those boots
Mm-hmm.
so she can run a little bit better.
Yep.
But she has been like gashed down the side of her leg.
Yeah.
So and clearly she's, you know, she's struggling a bit and
Yes.
she's making her way to the Terrifier.
Uh-huh. Well, he manages to corner her inside the scariest bathroom I have seen.
Yeah.
Uh, since that one that we stopped at on our European tour a couple years ago.
Oh yeah.
Remember when we stopped at that Shell station thinking, oh, there'll
Oh
be
yeah.
nice bathrooms. It's Europe.
The prostitute murder bathroom.
Yep. which I was not anticipating in fucking Prague or wherever we were.
No, it was
Yeah.
like in like en route,
Mm-hmm.
Polish trucker style.
Woof.
But there was definitely like I noticed it had like art was here kind of written on one of the bathroom stalls. So this is definitely like art's hangout.
This is where Art does his like butchery sort of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Is this the
Um.
charcuterie?
Yeah. Charcuterie.
Yeah.
But she is very aware that this is not the room you want to end up in.
No.
And
No.
he comes at her with the spiked club. She grabs just a 2x4 chunk and is
Yep.
trying to fend him off. And he is hiding behind, he's holding with one hand the spiked club, but behind his back is that acid he stole from the coroner in scene
Yeah.
one. Chekhov's acid to the face.
Yep. Oh, that's rough.
And he pummels her quite literally to a pulp.
Yes.
And the last thing he does is pull out her still beating heart
Sure. Why not?
and take a bite out of it.
Why not?
Jonathan wakes up in like the pale girl's dressing room looking area,
Also in the Terrifier.
also in the Terrifier.
Yeah.
And she is just with utensils like peeling her own face off. We'll later see her with her face back. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
these
she's
two
fine.
they're Freddy Krueger-y, right?
Yeah.
They can't really be mutilated, killed, whatever. Sienna finds Brooke's body. So I think the movie struggles here. I'm just gonna do
Yes. No, this last
from
act
a
is,
writing point of view
yeah.
here is I think they were having a hard time getting to our final girl's resolve. You know,
Yeah.
because the final girl always wants to give up, and there has to be that moment where it's like, no,
Push
no,
through.
no,
Yeah.
have to fight. And we watch a good 20 minutes of her just kind of barely doing anything other than
It's like
crying and screaming.
it's like her running to Jonathan, even though she doesn't know where Jonathan is. Then, her finding Brooke and then running from Art. And then Jonathan's there. And then she's running with Jonathan away from Art. And then Jonathan is also running away from Art. There's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. And I do feel like there are a couple of moments where she does get into fight scenes with Art, but this actor, Lauren Lavera, comes out of being a stunt woman.
Okay.
She is a stunt woman and a martial arts expert.
Yeah. Because she is
She
up and down. She is doing the thing.
so she's doing a lot of physical work in this
Yeah.
movie. I kind of wanted to get to it sooner. I just
Yeah.
found myself thinking like you you hired somebody who say like whose works have been his paint like let's say you hire an artist whose paintings have been featured at the Guggenheim
Yeah.
and you ask them and you're like, can you just do an accent wall here in the living room? And like she's just kind of doing a little bit of scream queeny stuff and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have a person
Yeah.
who can probably do like a double kickflip.
Well, I mean, kind of what we're saying before, like, I feel like it's an embarrassment of it's too much.
Yes.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
Like you could have taken like three of these things out
Yes.
in order to get to, because we haven't even, and then, we haven't even gotten to this point where, okay, so Jonathan and Sienna kind of reunited, which is good.
Uh-huh.
All right, making progress there. But now they're in like a different part of the Terrifier, the black cloaked mannequin room, which
Sure.
we all know that one of those black cloaked mannequins are probably going to be Art the Clown. Like,
Uh-huh.
you're not okay. It's not rocket science here, people. When you
Right.
see characters go, whew, I think we're safe, they're not.
No, and you'll get four or five times in this final act to get it right, to be able to
Yes.
guess that they're not safe.
And this is one of the, I mean, this fight that ensues afterwards is kind of interesting because Art the Clown pulls out a fucking whip with scissors on it.
Yeah. He I think
This is very specific.
it is very specific. Yeah, I mean he likes to have a specific weapon for
Yeah.
everything. And we did see them earlier like making weapons.
Sure. Yeah, this feels like one of the homemade ones that he
Yeah.
saved for his final girl.
Yeah. So yeah, he eventually like catches up with Jonathan in this weird like devil's church looking area
Yep.
of the funhouse. Is whipping him. Sienna like dives on his body and takes the whippings to protect Jonathan from getting cut up. She does finally like fight back, so we do get a little bit of fight back. She finds like
Yes.
a piece of rebar looking thing
Yeah. She like gets the whip from Art the Clown.
and then drives this bar through his skull.
Oh, that's right. Yes, correct.
But she rightfully presumes this man is dead or incapacitated.
Seems like he would be.
But no, he comes up from behind her 5 seconds later and is choking her out until Jonathan pulls out that little double-barreled face blaster
Yep.
and shoots him in the chest.
Double barrel to the chest.
Yeah.
Ah, are we done? No, we
We
are not.
sure are not, because Sienna has passed out and she wakes up to her mom being like, everything's going to be okay.
Oh,
Oh, did Jonathan not tell you what happened to me?
what?
And then you hear Jonathan's voice being like, you get away from her. That is not mommy. And we look back and it is mom in full art face makeup.
Yeah, it's like mom ghost with the bad teeth.
Yeah.
Which
And
I was
she,
like, man, it was so fast. I mean, not that doesn't like add more stuff, but I
yeah.
was like, oh, this could have been like a whole thing. You know, we're
Yes.
going for the classic 80s kind of fake out of like, oh, darling, it's all okay. It's all okay. And then, it is clearly not.
Right. Yeah. It's, and
But
then,
it happens real quick.
yeah. And it's like a psychic infusion of everything that's happened. So she
Yeah.
sees everything instantly.
Yeah.
Um,
And Art the Clown is gone. So we're back on the chase.
yeah, we're back on the chase. Well, Art starts to she finds Art standing over Jonathan's body. You're like, is Jonathan dead? Is he not? What's happening? Art basically throws her down through
Yeah.
a trap door into another basement area where there's another hole in the ground that sounds like another pit portal to hell.
Yeah. It's very, very carnival portal to hell vibes.
Uh-huh.
So now it's like, are we in an entire dream sequence? Is all this a dream sequence? Well, you know what? He goes down there, stabs her with the sword, which is
Uh-huh.
like, oh, this seems okay. All right. I feel like we've reached some important kind of moment here. Chucks her into the carnival portal to hell, drops the sword, classic, which is kind of a funny move of like, the final girl gets the thing, stabs the thing, and then
Uh-huh.
just it's like, oh, I'm done. Thank God I'm done with this knife.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's kind of a cool reverse because it's actually Art the Clown that does it. Goes back upstairs to do his thing.
Yeah, because he's gonna go start nibbling on. He's gonna
Oh my
go
God.
cannibalize Jonathan. He wants to go eat him.
But it's kind of an interesting like character notion that like Art the Clown is like snapping his fingers, clapping, trying to wake Jonathan up.
Uh-huh.
And then he's kind of like has this look of like, oh, nuts.
Yes.
Like it's really the most fun for Art the Clown when his victims are like conscious and screaming and like, but if they're just gonna like be passed out, well,
Yeah.
it's no fun at all.
He's very much like a kitten, as
Yeah.
I can say as a person who has a kitten now, that it's like meowing didn't wake dad up. So what if I start chewing on his ankle?
Yes.
What if I deliver claws right into the bottom of his
Yeah.
foot? He will certainly be awake now.
Yeah. Like if you find a mouse and the mouse is like petrified with fear, that's no fun.
No,
You
run.
want something that's gonna run around and
Yeah. Well, Sienna wakes up below and she is in a tank of water, like a
yep,
magic trick, like a escape artist sort of trick. And she
yep.
is got like a vine looking thing tied around her leg
Yeah,
that she
sort of a
can't break free
tendril.
of.
And
She
we're
is,
back at the Clown Cafe, Jeffrey.
yeah, with all the adults dressed as kids and they're bloody this time, but they're all clapping and cheering her drowning.
I love a Clown Cafe reprise.
Mm-hmm.
I love a reprise in any musical where they're like, hey, you remember 2 hours ago you heard that song?
Jesus.
Well, we're back at it, just in case you forgot.
She wastes so much oxygen just screaming. And I'm like, you guys, I know we're doing retro 80s stuff
Yeah.
here, but we are in 2022 when this movie is made. I really want you to have smarter final girls. Just a little bit, just slightly. I know she's panicking.
And it's also like, is she even in this thing? I mean,
Uh,
she's in like a dream sequence.
yeah, I mean,
Is she
this is a
dead? Is
weird
she in
thing, right?
hell?
Yeah, this is a
She
weird
in,
thing because that was a dream sequence earlier, but now it's a reality for
yeah.
her.
But is it
Yeah, it's really wild. Well, she as
that
she
sword?
dies, she drowns.
Yes.
She dies. We see her body go limp.
Yeah.
Our final girl is dead, but that sword lights up and it heals her wounds and it brings her back to life. And as Art is upstairs just gnawing on Jonathan's ankle, she appears from behind and stabs him in the back. And then hacks him in the neck, hacks him in the neck, and backs him down. And then finally he is on his knees and she's holding the sword up. And he does like a go ahead gesture, might as
Yeah. Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And he exposes her neck and she
Yeah.
decapitates him.
Which I think is, like as horror movie fans, we kind of realize the only true death is decapitation.
Yes.
Like it's really the only way to be sure.
Yeah. It's sort of interesting. It's there's the vampire notion of the stake through the heart, and there's the zombie notion of destroy the brains.
Yeah.
And then the kind of catch all is the
Just take
decapitation
off the
is
head.
yeah, take off the head. So that's what she do. And then she and Jonathan are like panting and breathing like, oh shit, we've been fucked
Tearful,
up.
tearful reunion.
But then the pale girl appears. We're a little scared, like,
Yeah.
oh shit, draw this sword up.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
she gonna
Yeah.
do? But all she does is pick up Art's head and laugh. She does her creepy glowy eye thing.
Yeah, and he kind of like she holds Art's like she holds the head up to her ear as if he's whispering something,
Uh-huh.
and then she just kind of fucks off.
Yeah, she carries it like a little baby doll away.
Yeah.
Um, the end,
The end.
except there is a mid-credit scene.
I didn't get this. Because I was like, this movie is 2+ hours. I need to go the fuck to bed.
Uh-huh.
So I did not get the mid-credit sequence.
I popped it back on because after we get to the end of this film here, uh, because it does end pretty abruptly, right? Like
Yeah.
the pale girl just
Yeah.
leaves. You're like, oh, the end,
Yeah.
credits. But I saw it on Wikipedia that there is a mid credit scene, so I was like, oh, I gotta pull fucking Tubi back up or whatever, because I don't have Peacock. Um. Anyways, in the mid credit scene, Vicky, our person who killed
From
the TV host from earlier,
one, right?
yeah, and also from movie one, Vicky is in a mental institution. She is vomiting and gushing blood from
Ew.
between her legs, and she
Yeah.
is writing with that blood on the wall like cunt, bitch,
Oh no.
whore, well, all this stuff. And this is in cut back and forth between a scene between a nurse and a security guy, basically two nurses,
Okay.
working the front desk at this mental hospital. The guy is played by wrestler Chris Jericho.
Okay.
Um, this is very funny to me, but their whole funny bit at the nurses station is it's Halloween and his wife had made a plate of desserts that all look like they're like candies that look like bleeding brains and they're like
Okay.
they look like grotesqueries. And the nurse is like, I don't really have an appetite for this after dealing with our star patient who
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Vicky, because she takes all of the appetite away from you. Well, then she goes to check on Vicky, and what does she find? But she gets in there, and one, Vicky has written Vicky plus art with a heart around it in the middle of all the obscenities.
Oh.
We can also hear Art's voice, what sounds like his voice going, cunt, cunt, cunt. And
Oh.
we realize Vicky, has given birth to Art's severed head. And they are
Oh.
sitting in the pool of blood on the floor, crisscross applesauce. And the nurse walks in to see Art smiling and laughing from the lap of his new mother.
That is the
Just his
gender
head.
reveal party that I would like to attend. Congratulations. It's a decapitated demon clown.
Sorry, I bumped my head on the mic laughing. Jesus Christ. Uh, what tremendous. Thank you for that. The end.
The end.
Shall we rate this movie?
Sure.
How approachable is this movie? It's not.
Correct.
If you're a horror film averse, like just don't watch this
No,
movie.
no,
Sometimes I
not.
will give a movie a pass for being funny. There's nothing that can give this movie a pass. It is funny. It is
Yes.
clever. It's got so much good going on, but this is a horror fan's horror film.
Yeah.
I mean, this is for people who love gory practical effects and kind of a clever mean-spiritedness.
Yeah.
So it is taking Nightmare on Elm Street movies and like
Oh,
ranking it to
beyond.
11.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if that's your thing, do it. But I can't imagine if you listen to this podcast because you are in a place that I was in when we started making this show, which is I don't watch horror movies because they're so scary and gross. Yeah, this movie is scary and gross, and it's one of the scariest and grossest movies I've watched for this show. So for that, on the scale of 1 to 10 for approachability, it is a 1. Don't go watch this unless you are fully prepared for what we have just described to you today. Cecil, to speak nothing of approachability, how do you rate this as a horror film?
As a horror film, it's pretty high up there, I gotta
Uh-huh.
say. I mean, it has its, things that we talked about. It's like there's a lot there.
Yes.
There's a lot. They're trying to squeeze in a lot. But if you want to see a demon clown playing with viscera, have I got a movie for you?
Boy, do I.
So for that reason, I mean, and clearly this is a movie that is like kind of the spirit of independent horror filmmaking that like taken, it's a great success story. I think it's really fun and terrible at the same time. So I don't know, 7 out of 10 decapitated trick or treat barrels.
Mm-hmm.
Moms, I don't know how to describe that. Whatever that is.
Let's figure out what movie we're going to watch next. You've got a scare die. I've got a style die. We'll roll those up, see what movie matches. Cecil, if you roll a 1 on your scare die, our next movie's scare is zombies. 2, haunted. 3, psycho killer. 4, Mother Earth. 5, conspiracy. Or 6, aliens is our scare. What is it going to be?
That's a 1.
All right, zombies. Going back to the zombie well. All right, let's match up zombies with the style that I roll. If I roll a 1, it's got to be a movie from the Southern Hemisphere. 2, LGBTQ plus, meaning that's LGBTQ plus characters and or creator. 3, wild card, whatever zombie movie we want. 4, WTF, like what the fuck did I just watch? 5, something from the 1960s. Or 6, an urban zombie film. All right, let's roll this up, see what we got. I've got a 1. We've got Southern Hemisphere zombie film.
We're getting to that Southern Hemisphere.
We are.
It has been on the dice for a while.
It's funny because we've done a couple of pretty good New Zealand early on in the show. We had a couple of New Zealand zombie films in Black Sheep and Dead Alive.
Sure.
Both great zombie pictures. Here, I put these 3 down. There is a Martin Freeman vehicle called Cargo.
Okay.
That's one that is zombie-ish and
Looks pretty
Australian. There's another Australian zombie movie. It looks a little bit like kind of dystopia future world, kind of Mad Maxy that's called
Yeah.
Wormwood
Okay.
with a Y,
Yeah.
WYRM. This looks very action horror.
Yeah.
And 3, one I'm really interested in. There's a Chilean film called El Conde, which is about totalitarian right-wing dictator Augusto Pinochet at as a vampire. Imagines him as a
Oh,
vampire. Um, so yeah, this one sounds. El Conde looks politically comedic,
sure. Oh, yeah.
darkly politically comedic. So those are the three I put on here. But we also have a Letterboxed account, Random Horror 9 on Letterboxd. You can join up on Letterboxd, and we put all of the possible dice roll matchups on there, and you can go comment, add your thoughts to what movies would fit those matchups. Cecil, I don't know if you had anything else. Should we just go right into our Letterboxd?
Yeah, I think those are three really good suggestions. I had nothing to add to those.
Well, tell me what you found on Letterboxd from our
Well, MD
followers.
Cost, MD Cost,
Hmm.
gave us this is a really good suggestion and one that I have seen. So thank you for reminding. It's Gaia from 2021, South African. Um,
Oh.
Sort of the zombies are due to a mysterious fungus, and absolutely
Hmm.
like fungal zombies.
Interesting.
Eric Riley recommends Pussy Cake. An all-girl rock band in Argentina winds up in a zombie-filled town where their van breaks down.
Okay, Pussy Cake is very familiar because oh shit.
Were you in a
Okay,
band called Pussy Cake in high school?
no, but there was I think the director, I'm pulling this up now, Pablo Perez. He did oh shit. Fuck. I may cut this out because I feel like for some reason I think we watched one of his shorts.
Oh,
I
huh.
wish I could remember, or maybe I'm confusing it. I might be confusing this with I might have heard them talk about Pussy Cake on Week Aurora.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so I'm just gonna cut that part out. Never mind. Forget I said that. Pussy Cake sounds tremendous. Like
Yeah,
what a great title.
yeah,
Um, Weaponized Toaster, Seconds Cargo and Wormwood, by the way.
yeah. Ganymede's Cup has an interesting movie. Any movies in the Plaga Zombie film series from Argentina?
And this is the same director as Pussy Cake. Plaga
Okay,
Zombie. Yes, Zombie
which like
Plague, same director as Pussy Cake.
which I have not seen any of those.
Mm-mm.
It's something that I've heard bandied about.
Yeah, I'm sort of interested in like a South American movie would be really fascinating.
Okay.
What else do we have on here?
What do we have? Doop doop doop. Unreluctance recommends I Survived a Zombie Holocaust 2014
What do we think
zombie
that's
horror
about?
comedy. It's what is it about? Who
Hmm.
knows? From New Zealand.
Hmm.
We have another plus one for Wormwood from Eldritch von Fausto. Another plus one for Wormwood and Cargo from Dart Dartigan.
Sure.
Dartigan. And one that maybe we need to look into first, but they also recommend Morgue from 2019, a Paraguayan film. Haven't been able to stream it.
Hmm.
Not 100% if it's zombies, but if it's set in a morgue, so, maybe there's a chance there.
That's interesting.
And
Yeah.
finally, oh, yeah,
Okay, here let me
zombies.
give you a description of Morgue. It is available on Amazon Prime. On his first day as a security guard, Diego Martinez is assigned to the night shift at the Hospital Regional. On his rounds, he notices the hallways can be unsettling at night till he accidentally notices he's trapped inside the morgue.
Oh,
That does
no.
seem very zombie-ish, undead.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And finally, Ghost.
35%
Oh,
rating.
oh, yeah.
35% rating,
Oh,
just to note.
oh,
Oof.
okay, sure.
Hmm.
And finally, we have Ghostlight AK, recommends Last One's Out from 2016. An American in an African hospital wakes up to discover he still has appendicitis and there is a zombie apocalypse.
Oh God.
Oh dear. But good news, they're not going to charge your insurance, I guess.
Probably not. Probably not. You will get a bill, but you do not need to pay it.
Yeah, there's
Is what
because
I'm
there's
saying.
nobody working the front desk anymore.
Woof. That one, that sounds hardcore. Well, what is standing out to you on these lists? It does seem like fan favorites are around Wormwood and
Yeah.
Cargo.
Here's the thing, like El Conde looks like such a good film, but everything I'm seeing is like that is a vampire,
Not
not
zombie.
a
I was kind of
zombie.
going with the yes, he is
Undead.
vampire. I was going with undead, so that's probably too far of a stretch, right?
I have seen Gaia, and it's a very good film, South African film. Definitely got some zombies in it,
Uh-huh.
and kind of an interesting sort of like eco terror take.
Yeah. We
So
haven't
I'm
watched
pro that
an
one.
eco terror in quite a bit,
Yeah, even though we
right?
have Mother Nature on
Yeah,
the
we
dice,
do. That's
so
true. It's a possibility we could still get to Gaia through that.
it seems like Cargo and Wormwood, Plaga Zombie are going to be Pussy Cake are going to be our like most solid zombies
Uh-huh.
here. Like Cargo definitely looks like the most like we've got like a dude with a baby trying to get across the wilderness, kind of like more about survival, kind of a
Right.
solo and like personal study. Wormwood is one that I've definitely seen on quite a lot of lists. It comes up quite a bit. Maybe it's also just got like a really eye-catching poster.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Plaga Zombie looks kind of batshit crazy fun.
Yeah, Plaga Zombie looks pretty fucking dope. I it's a 1990s horror movie as
Yeah.
well. I'm kind of interested in
Like
that.
it looks very like Toxic Avenger
Uh-huh.
meets, so like maybe a little more tongue in cheek or tongue eats cheek. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the
Eating tongue in
sense.
cheek.
Yes, I think we're gonna get some real like wild comedy sort of thing. Also,
Yeah.
a cool hour and 10 minutes long, which
Yeah.
is delightful.
But here's the thing. I'm a little bit curious about Pussy Cake.
I am too. Hold on, let me pull this up here. Because this Pussy Cake is 2021.
Yeah. Like this seems very fresh. It seems very fresh and new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks really fun. It looks very exciting. I like that it's the same director. I like that it's an Argentinian
Yeah.
film as opposed to the thing about Cargo. I'm
Mhm.
sure it's very good. I just have very little excitement for the movie Cargo.
Yeah.
It feels
It
like a
self-serious, a little
zombie
more self-serious.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels kind of like a thing I think I've seen before.
I think for me, it's between Wormwood and Pussy Cake.
Yes. So it's the question of like, do we want to watch another like contemporary 2020?
Yeah, like super new, super recent.
Yeah. Or Wormwood, which is I think it's still 21st century, but
Yeah.
Wormwood's going to be a lot more like crazy people with homemade armor. It's going to
Yeah.
be like the biker gang from
Yep.
Mandy, I think.
Yeah, totally.
I think I'm in the mood for Pussy Cake,
You said it.
but I'm not sure what film I want to see yet for next
Uh-huh.
week. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Victory.
Oh, nailed it.
Nailed it. Um, yeah, I think I want to see Pussy Cake. I think I want to see this movie, right?
Yeah. It seems
It's
like
fun to
fun.
say. It's got a listen, Cecil. If you're not already convinced, let me give you one more strong argument
Okay.
for Pussy
Uh-huh.
Cake. The rating on IMDb, 15%.
Oh, oh, is it shot? Is it?
It is 15% out of it's 15% out of 44 user ratings on Just Watch. The IMDb rating is 4.7 out of 10.
Okay. All right. That's at the halfway,
Uh-huh.
which honestly, for a horror movie, it's not bad.
Yeah, this is a struggling all-female rock band kicks off a new tour hoping to rekindle popularity. When they catch the attention of horrors from beyond our reality, the band realizes that being forgotten by their fans is the least of their problems. So,
It's like it just seems like cheeky
yes,
fun.
I need I need some I need some cheeky fun after watching this. I need a come down from the cheeky fun of Terrifier 2.
We've yeah, I don't know. We're in a zone. We're in a zone right
Let's
now.
stay in that zone. All right, great. Well, hold on. Yep, that is available for viewing. All right, great. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Cecil, for talking with me. And if you have thoughts on Terrifier 2 or ideas for other movies that would have been a good zombie film from the Southern Hemisphere, let us know on Instagram at Random Horror 9 or on Patreon, where we have public discussion threads for each and every episode. And you do not need to be a paying member to participate in those. So watch Pussy Cake 2021 with us this weekend. Come on back next Tuesday for a new episode. Have a restful night with no razor blades in your breakfast cereal or nothing. Boo!
Boo.